Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible and all the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your ruminative, musing hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other ruminative and musing host, Beth Martin. Beth, the pleasure as always. What's the crack?
Ruminative?
Ruminative.
Ruminative.
I'm pretty sure they said it right. And you can shove it up your asses if you don't like it, all right?
It's
Go
right.
and,
It's right.
pronounce your own words, jerks.
You look it up in your own
Yeah.
thesaurus.
Yeah.
Thesaurus.
You do it in your podcast, all right, assholes. Yeah. So
uh,
that.
nicely done. So let's talk about science.
Mhm. Okay. Uh-oh.
So we had the kids had a science fair. Do you guys have
Uh-huh.
science fairs?
Not the same way Americans have.
Okay. So basically you get like a big poster board. It's like that's what I remember about school. I was always doing like a poster board project,
Hmm.
always. Or like a group poster board project was which
Yep.
was like horrible because no one would ever, it was always like I was the one that would get the project done kind of thing.
Yes, I
And then I learned a lot about group projects and like, oh, okay, I'll just have to do this myself kind of
yeah.
mentality, which is not what you're supposed to, learn. So yeah, basically you pick a topic and you do a little speech and you present the topic to, a group of like judges or whatever, and then everybody walks around and you check out everybody else's science. So the kids, I was like, just there was no grade. It was all like put together by the PTA. So Charlie did hippos versus pygmy hippos, like their behaviors, and we happened to have pygmy hippos and regular hippos, river
Hell yeah.
hippos at the San Diego Zoo. So we like went and did like science observation and he had his little binoculars and his little pencil and he was writing down like the time and
Mhm.
their behaviors and what they were doing and they were eating and napping. And like uh I don't know. I mean, we've talked about Mudang, obviously, but like
Sure.
seeing a Mudang pygmy hippo in real life is literally like one of the best things ever. So I highly recommend it if you have one
Oh,
around in any of your local zoos.
are they distinct? They're distinctly different species then, or I mean, like not.
They are cousins.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
Here's some pygmy hippo facts for you. They weren't discovered until the 1800s
Hmm.
because they're primarily like they're not nocturnal, but they come out mostly like in the evening or like in the like
Okay.
late evening when it's like dark and they're a darker color and they
Yeah.
spend most of they can like run underwater really fast. So they spend most of their time underwater and which is why like they weren't discovered until like 200 years ago, which is kind of crazy.
That rocks.
I know. Um, so and then Harper's project uh was I had seen this like that lemons have you can light a light bulb using lemons.
Yes. Hmm.
And so we did lemons versus grapes, like which one has more voltage and can power a light bulb. And then she actually like had the little light bulb that you could turn the switch on and like look through this tube and see the light light up.
Do grapes do
And
it?
yes,
Wow.
and lemons. And actually, her hypothesis was that lemons would have more power than grapes, and it's actually the opposite.
Fascinating.
I know. And
I
then
would
we
have
tried
thought
like all the fruits and bananas and celery and everything. And it basically, yeah, the wetter it is, then the more
because
electricity
I
and
thought it
voltage
would.
it
I
has.
thought it was to do with the like acidic nature of lemons.
That's part of it too.
Okay.
So you have to have the acidity, the I know this because I read it on her poster board.
Hmm.
It's like an electrolyte
Okay. Okay.
that is I don't know if it's the thing that like I don't know, something with zinc and copper and electrolytes makes
Okay.
electricity.
Love it. That's cool as hell.
Something something. But the kid that won like the big prize, he fucking mummified an actual hot dog and did it, and it
Whoa,
worked. I know. Mike was like, I'm impressed.
that rocks.
I know.
Did he put like wrap it in bandages and stuff?
Yes. And he had it in his little like tiny sarcophagus for a hot dog. I
Amazing.
know.
That's so
I
good.
know. I know. So
Like
yeah.
we definitely we have some things like that, but they're not on the same scale. I mean, like we I'd say most of us in the UK would be aware of science fairs through movies and stuff like that because they feature in
Okay.
movies quite a bit, But
Okay.
I remember doing some bits and pieces like that, but nothing to that scale. I
No,
what
like even like our friend who's a professor, like he's always going to these conferences and he's always looking around his poster project. So it's like,
It's a nice idea.
I know.
I mean, like, because I think we've talked about it before. It's one of my favorite things is. Like I think the imagination of children, I think your imagination gets worn down as you get older, and
Yes.
like
Yes.
the capacity for the different directions your imagination can take you in kids is wonderful. So it's a great idea.
Yeah. And also like I will say, like I'm working with the kids on schoolwork more and it just like doing this project stuff with them was so fucking fun. I
It's
love
nice.
hippos like so
Uh,
much.
yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like we're going to talk about
We probably
one
are.
particular hippo
It
in
might be on my
today.
favorite things of the year
It might
list.
be in mine too. So we are going to talk about one later.
What's
We
the
won't
crack
say
with
who.
you?
Um,
Yay.
okay, so since I saw you last, couple of
Hmm.
fun things I have done. The way like I am chill and relaxed and just like you really don't do very much in a single day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like always bored
Jokes.
and
I
like
don't cram everything into every, single minute of every day that I have. Anyway, so since I saw you last, I have went to see Captain America 4.
how was it?
It was, better than I thought it was going to be. That's going to sound like slight praise. I think that I'd heard it was terrible and I was expecting really bad things from it. But I I think Anthony Mackie's a great Cap. I think he's a very different Cap, obviously, to Chris Evans. I also really like there's something about you how he moves with like as Falcon. So he's Captain America with wings, but like so there's something kinetic about the action scenes with him in it that a lot of other Marvel movies haven't really been able to access. So I really love
Hmm.
the action scenes. They shouldn't have given away that Harrison Ford turned into the Red Hulk. If it had been a surprise, it would have been amazing. But he was great in it as well. So like it just felt really
Spoiler
disjointed.
alert.
Yeah, it's in every trailer. It's in the
Okay.
posters.
Okay.
So like, sorry if you haven't seen a single poster when you walk into the movie theater. Anyway, oh sorry.
Such an
Um,
asshole.
I know
Me, Andy, I
I
haven't.
am. That's true. Oh, what have I done? You're not going to watch Cop 4
I
anyway,
didn't know he was
probably, are
in
you?
that. Oh my
No.
God, I'm so excited. All right, I'm
Um,
excited.
so better than I thought it was going to be, but damning, it was
Okay.
faint praise. Um, I watched Naiad, which I really loved. So Naiad's the one about the lady who tried to swim from Cuba
Oh
to
yes. Yes, yes.
yes. So it's a couple of years old now,
I
and
watched it. Yep.
I loved it. It was great. It was a
Yep.
really nice story. Jodie Foster, Diane Keaton were both awesome in it.
Yep.
So yeah, really
I
nice.
love their friendship.
Yes, really kind of nourishing. More, I think that was what I really kind of resonated with me most from it. But it was lovely.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing I did was I went to a songwriting workshop. Hmm, right?
Did you know?
I did. Um,
Okay.
and I was good fun. Like it was essentially the first hour was just the people who were in the workshop talking about their history with, writing or songwriting or whatever. But it was really nice. Then we wrote some lyrics and we got feedback from the person who is a singer-songwriter, is in a band. And like near the end of the class, she came around, she was like, kind of look at what you've written. And I was part of me was like, no, absolutely not. But I was like, well, whatever, who gives a shit? And I said, look, I have been I've been talking to a friend a lot about autism recently, and that has been on my mind. So I kind of wrote, and I said, but I started writing about, the kind of barriers to communication. That's something I've been thinking about a lot. And I said, but I started writing it as come across as really emo, and she's just like, that's my bread and butter. Is this great? And she looked at it. She was like, I love it. I'd like to see more of it. It's really well put together. I see this as a chorus, so you can see it kind of build up to this. But it was just kind of, like, any of those things, poetry, songwriting, I guess, whatever. It's just like I have torn open my heart. Look at my heart. So it
Yes.
felt so exposing, but it was really lovely to get nice
Yeah.
feedback from her. But yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I have been lucky in that most of the times I have put my creative stuff out there, it has been well received. So it's just it was a nice thing to do, a nice reminder that I need to be scratching that creative itch more often.
What what made you decide to do that?
So it was an offer. I mean, it was free. That's a big.
Yeah.
And it was
Can't
basically
say no to free.
no. It was a series of there was a series of like these workshops happening, and like all of them sounded interesting to me. And I was like, I just want to go along because, well, I've been doing the poetry stuff a few years back. I haven't had a chance to do any real writing in a long time now. I mean, over a year. I want to get back into it. I think I need something to light a fire under me. I have a friend who was in a band, and just because, like, the age that we all are, he is in a band with guys who all have kids.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to actually organize rehearsals and things like that. And
Right.
he just was
Right.
reaching, we chat a lot, and he's like, I just want to do something with you. And I'm like, okay. And so we're going to try to take it easy. We're taking it slow. We are, so far the plan is, we're called the Christmas Boys, and we're only going to do Christmas parody songs. Nobody can steal that,
Interesting.
all right? It's ours. And I see any Christmas boy coming out, I'll hunt you down. My lawyer is a shark.
Uh,
Is that what they say?
no,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Is that like a term? Like an
Yeah,
American
is it
term?
like whenever if your lawyer's ferocious, and you should be scared of him? Do you say he's a
I
shark?
mean,
I don't know.
no.
Fine. What?
I forgot.
Okay.
I I'm gonna I don't know if I'm gonna humble brag.
Do it.
I'm halfway through the hardest Lego I've ever done.
Ooh, can you reveal what it is?
It's the Jaws Lego that you
Yes.
wanted. I
Ah,
got it for
cursed
Valentine
you.
Was it Valentine's Day?
Nice.
Yes, it
Ah,
was.
that's
And I
so
was
cool.
like, I was gonna like build it and then just kind of like parade it in
Show
front
it.
of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
But I've
yeah.
only got the boat built, not
Okay.
the shark. And I
And
fucked up the shark and I gotta undo it and start all over again.
and
So
I mean, I've got to say it did look quite complex, but it's legitimately difficult. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
There's like I had to do like what rope and tie like
Ooh,
little knots and
shit.
shit. Yeah,
I suppose that
man.
makes sense, yeah, for the set of the scene. So for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, there is a Lego set that is
That Andy
um
wanted.
yeah, I did one. So it really sucks that Beth got it. It's awful.
I know.
Uh
Because we were at Legoland
yeah.
and they have this like you get if you have a Legoland membership, you get like 20% off of all the
Yeah. Yeah.
Legos.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
so I know. So and it's like the best Lego store ever. It's
Yeah,
huge. They have everything. So we're
it
just like
rocks.
wandering around and like picking the thing. Like if Andy could travel back with a giant Lego, which one would it be?
Yeah, that was the one I said, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like so
Yeah.
it is like literally the scene where Jaws is attacking them and like Quint is getting dragged into the water by Jaws. That is the
Yeah.
scene that is
Yeah.
depicted in Lego. It
Yeah.
rocks. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
So it was like they've got the newspaper, they've got the t like the table where they're all sitting and
Uh,
like
yeah.
singing their Show Me the Way to Go
Oh,
Home. It's
so cool.
got the fishing chair. It's
Yeah,
like the coolest. I'm gonna have to like I might actually do like a video, like a cribs for you with the Lego to show
please do.
you. I
Please do.
will. Okay.
For the podcast listeners as well, want to see that, I think. Love it. I mean, I don't love it, obviously, but I'll accept it and move on, I
Sorry, you
guess.
said shark, and I was like, let me, how can I bring this
Hold
back
on.
to
How do I
me?
shoehorn this in? Um, okay. I mean, let's move on because I don't want to talk about this anymore. So so Beth, do you have any occurring for us this week?
Not this week. I do not. Do you, sir?
So I have a bit of feedback on
Mm.
our Demi Moore chat.
Ooh,
So
okay.
from the person who prompted it,
Okay.
who they said that it was kind of mischievous because they were kind of like they wanted to ask the question, but it was with the idea that they had thought about it themselves, and then they looked at her back catalog and was kind of like, maybe she didn't win any awards because none of the films she were in was
Yeah.
that good. And I was kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
She was kind of maybe one of the first female actor mega celebrities in that she was, high
Yeah.
profile rather than, I don't mean to demean her acting talent, but I think that that's not the
I mean, she
reason
was like, yeah,
she had as
like
much focus as she did put on her.
so much. And
Um,
also she, posed nude pregnant on Vanity
yeah,
Fair or Vogue,
yeah, that's
whatever.
one of
And
the
that
things that
was
you were talking
like,
about. Yeah,
yeah. And that was like a huge, huge deal. Not,
yeah.
and I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just that's how like not
But
notorious,
it's
but
also, and the thing, he had mentioned is it's also that thing where once actors, you find that push and pull in all sorts of actors, both male and female, in that if they become mega famous, they want that critical acclaim.
yeah.
If they get the critical acclaim, they also want to be like, mega famous and the money, the stuff that comes with that all too often.
Hmm.
It's like it's that thing that we always talk about whenever you hit the top, the thing that you've been reaching for, it's like, what's next? It's not
Yeah.
satisfaction. A lot of the time it's not, I've arrived, everything's good now.
Now I can relax.
Yeah, good God no. But
Yeah,
yeah, so just wanted to give a wee update on that.
I can see that.
So should we get into this week's episode?
Sure.
How to do a burp. Okay, so let's move on to our topic for this week. It is chat about last year. I feel like I need time, a wee bit of distance away from things to really kind of like digest it properly. So we're gonna do a review of the year 2024 called 2024. What was it good for? Huh, good God. Uh yeah, just
How did you like go back?
like, you know, I, I did do some searches just because I sometimes need a refresher. But what was interesting was that like, and what I was curious about from your point of view was the lens that you look through a year at. So like I was looking at it in terms of entertainment a lot. I
Yeah.
then did I'll think about I did have like a sort of I really thought about last year and what I was doing last year and thought about the good and the bad of it and
Yeah.
what has been useful for me to going into this year. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I had a similar, so I went back through photos just to like jog my memory of like, right, that happened and that happened. So I'm sure there's stuff in there that
Good
like
idea.
that will pop up that wasn't in photos where I'm like, oh, that or that realization or whatever. But like it was bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like that happened, but then this other thing happened. So that happening kind of was not like what was in the photos was not how it ended up 6 months later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a
I,
little some of that, which I
I
didn't expect.
What I did was as well like world events that were like slightly more positive because I
Mm.
feel like there's been a lot of negative. Like the
Uh-huh.
2020s have just been kind of a shit show in a lot of ways. So it was good to kind of like go, okay, well, what good things are happening, showing that like society isn't completely hasn't completely malfunctioned as yet. So yeah. Do you want to lead off? Do you have anything you want to lead off with? Or
I
excuse
just
me.
think like you know, still coming out of like my health issue.
Yeah.
And I'm now looking at so I made a list of just like this happened and this happened. And I'm like, no wonder. I was
Yeah.
really busy. I did a lot of things. I traveled all over the world. Like,
True.
you know, um, I I think I did a lot.
You sure did.
I did a lot more than like I realized, and I'm grateful that I was able to do all those things. And I a lot of it is also like stuff that maybe doesn't have to do with me, but like I was, on the periphery of
Yeah.
something. And something happening for somebody else or other people doing things like also makes me happy. So a little bit of that. But yeah, I think it was a really good year.
I think in terms of recent years, yeah, it really was actually, yeah. It's certainly personally one of the
Yeah.
better ones in quite a while,
Yeah.
and also, mm, learn lessons. Like I think I need to be taught the same lesson again and again and again a lot of the time, but um, sometimes that's just a process, and I think that that was a some good stuff for me personally in that regard as well,
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah,
Um,
so do you want to? So okay, you know what I'm going to start off with, right? Is because probably my favorite thing last year, my favorite piece of entertainment, and I'm going to use it to bug Beth, was Shogun. Beth, what's your Shogun status currently?
I haven't watched it. Oh, well, no, that's not true. I tried and I just saw because the SAG Awards were last night and it
Yes.
won like a ton of categories.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, I got it. I know. I
I,
know. I know.
I
You
mean,
asked
like,
so little. You asked so little.
I know it's fine. Like, I mean, it is a 10 episode. It's 10 episodes, but like, I like. I mean, I
You know
really.
me. I binge it all the time. Where's my
Yeah, it's
pen? I need to
true.
write this down for myself.
Yeah, and like I think like, and I say give it a few episodes, but like once it grabs you, I think it's so good. Like I don't think I was looking through and I was thinking about entertainment that I enjoyed in like all sort of fields. And I was like, this is absolutely my number one thing of the year. And I remember seeing it at the start of last year and I was thinking, this is going to be hard to beat. It just felt like
Okay.
so resonant for me. I mean, like I just loved it and I just think its themes were great. And I think all so many of the characters were great. And like my friend and I were like sending like photos of some of the guys in it, like which is a serious show about death and like, um both like meaning and culture in Japan and things like that and translation. And we were like sending pictures of people in the show going, and we were like, oh, they're my guys. They're my guys are there. Just thinking about my guys. So yeah, it rules.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would say like my favorite piece of entertainment was The Boys.
Fair enough. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I The other ones as well that I think need a mention is I really love Challengers. I really like The Substance.
Mhm.
They were all the ones that really kind of worked for me over the past year. But like I looked just at a wide swath of stuff. I was like, there wasn't a lot of stuff. There was stuff I enjoyed, but
Mhm.
not a lot of stuff that really kind of like lit me up in that way. Um, I did really
I,
enjoy. There was a video game called Balatro that came out last year, which is a so there is a type of game called roguelikes that are essentially, you understand do you know what a roguelike is?
uh-uh.
Okay, so it's basically you can play them again and again, and they kind of change every time. So
Okay.
it's sort of a loop, but like the game changes quite significantly between each loop. And it was a poker-based one, and it was just such a beautiful wee piece of design, so simple and is very compulsive and feels like one of these things that once it arrives, it was undeniable. How did nobody do this before, sort of thing.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Um, yeah, I finally got around to watching Conclave.
Mm. What do you think?
Fascinating. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
So did I, but I really I really didn't understand the ending and not the how do I talk about this in vagaries?
Mhm.
There is like a fairly explosive end in that something comes to light.
Mhm.
And that I was like, okay. I was kind of like it kind of made sense within the context of the film, but then it kind of ends with him sitting on a bed. I won't talk about how he's dressed, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what this means fully. And
Mhm.
so with that kind of I wasn't sure. I walked out of it not fully understanding what the message was, but I really enjoyed the setting, the intrigue, all the actors were
Yeah,
fantastic.
the acting was fantastic. I am anything that has to do with the Vatican and
Yeah.
Vatican City and like what happens behind the walls. is fascinating. So just
Yeah.
like seeing what, because you know, I'm it, I'm a, I know I you know I'm not Christian. I didn't go to Catholic school, so I have no idea what all this stuff is and like the
Yeah.
rituals behind it. But I do every time there's a pope being elected, you know, I'm like, was there white smoke today? And like even knowing how they make the smoke and like how they color the
Yeah.
smoke and like what they do with the votes, it's like I don't even know if all that's true, but just watching the process for
I,
me, I didn't even care about the story. I just wanted to see
sure.
them go through the process.
Yeah.
That's what was so I was like, are they drinking alcohol? Are they allowed to drink alcohol? Like, you know, what are the politics behind all of this? And
I
like just the fact that like they have to, you know, put these like lead doors down because people are using like some laser to see
yes.
like the you can actually see the vocal frequency and then be able to see the conversations that are happening. All of this is just like news to me, and I love learning about like how
Yeah.
things work. And I think that was what was so great about
I
it.
I hear you, and I think I really did love that. Like I like it's as a window into that process and what that process might be like. Definitely heightened
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
dramatic purposes,
yeah.
but
And like any movie where they're just like turtles wandering around makes me
that's
happy.
strange. I forgot about the turtles. I also like that all the kind of different Catholic guys with all their different outfits, right? From different like
Yes.
parts of the
Okay.
Catholic Church,
Yeah. And
right?
like, or I'm giving this talk. Okay, now I'm talking over here in a different outfit. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Um, oh, so good. So yeah, definitely. I did enjoy it, and I was really glad I went to see it. Like, the one that I would really kind of, I was gutted I missed is Nora.
I
I'm
watched
kind
it
of,
this weekend.
was it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
am. I really want to see it, and I'm gutted I missed it because I didn't have a big run in the cinema over here, and I was hoping that it might get. Sometimes they do a second run, the lead up to the Oscars, and some of our art house theaters. So like, I'm hoping that they do because
I'll
I'd like to
see.
see
I
it.
might, because we watched it online. I don't know if it was through Amazon. Can you rent movies on Amazon?
I believe so. Yes, you can.
Okay.
I am debating. I just really like seeing movies in the theaters. I mean, I like seeing that doing
Yeah,
it
I
anyway,
hear
but
it.
also I just find that like my attention span is for shit in the house these days. So I
Yeah.
really struggle to
Yep.
sit and watch a movie at home, which is why I like to go and see as much as possible in the movies. But I'm really considering making more of an effort and signing up for Mubi, the movie stream, because it gets all that stuff. It gets all the stuff I want to see. Like it has, like Luca did two movies last year. He did Challengers and he did one called Queer, which I really
Mhm.
wanted to see. I hear Queer's
I haven't
fantastic.
seen, yeah, I've heard, well, it's up for awards, but it hasn't won anything
Okay,
because people are terrible.
yeah, sure.
Um, but yeah, I've heard it was very good. So Nora was like I made Mike watch it with me, and he
Uh-huh.
doesn't like anything ever. He likes like UHF and that's it. And aliens. Um, but he was like it like you feel like it's going one direction and then all of a sudden it goes a different
I've
direction.
heard that.
He was like, yeah, I was starting to be like, what the fuck? Like, come on. But then it takes off and then you're just like trying to keep up with it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and the
I
acting's really good. She's really good.
yeah, I hear she is good in it. I trying to think. I feel like I saw her in something else, but yeah, I will. It's definitely on the list. Um, yeah, love it. Okay. So. And what are your other? So I think other further thoughts on 2024, other areas.
I mean, travel,
Sure.
obviously. So like I wrote down like we went to Maria twice
Hmm.
because we were in Maria in January, and then we went again in the summer. I went and
Yeah.
saw I went and saw you
Yeah.
in London. Um,
Yeah. Shit, you did lots of travel.
I went to San Francisco. I went to New York
Yeah.
City. You came here.
Yeah.
We went down to Mexico.
Yeah.
So I did a lot. It's like
Yeah.
I think I feel like I have a distorted view of myself and my life and like what I do every day.
Yeah.
When I make a list like this, I'm like, girl, you're fine. Like you
True.
did you did a lot. And so like I think that's probably like something that I'm really glad that I was able to do and did. Um, um, I learned a lot. I learned a
Yeah.
lot. I think one of my favorite things I learned, honestly, it was about Finn McCool, the Irish giant and the
Exa-
Causeway. And that book that I bought when we went up there, I
Mhm.
read it to the kids all the time, and I do the Irish accent and I do the Scottish accent for the kids.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm like, do you want me to do it the accents? And they're like, yeah. And I do a terrible, terrible job, but like just like learning, yeah, about, your culture more and being able to see like, the life that you live. And, when you talk about the choir, like I have a reference point for
Yeah,
that. And
it's true.
like, your house and um,
I,
you
I,
know,
I, I am just so I want to. Okay, so like I was pretty certain it was him. I just wanted to check before I embarrassed myself and said the wrong thing. But the thing I went to with my folks at Christmas. I think I told you we went to this light show thing, and it was about Irish mythology. So,
yep,
essentially, there is a thing about the salmon of knowledge. Do you know about this?
the salmon of knowledge.
Yes.
No.
So it was the salmon. I'm gonna make a hash of this, but I'll just give you the outlines. Basically, this salmon was found, and
Do you
they were
have
like,
salmon?
I believe so, in some of our rivers and stuff like that. I'm pretty certain we do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And this salmon was said to have like all the knowledge of everything. And I can't remember who the guy was. Guy essentially found it, gave it to Finn McCool, and was like, right, you need to, if you can cook it, and we'll prepare it, we'll just have it for whoever is the right person that needs to eat it. And as Finn was cooking it, he like touched it to see how well it was cooking, burnt his thumb, and went and licked his thumb, and immediately gained all of the knowledge of the fish. So yeah, again,
So there's like more Finn McCool.
yeah, oh, there's a lot more from McCullough. Yeah, yeah. I right. So just in case you want to like delve into that a bit more.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, exciting
Okay.
strap in. I actually have and I'm sure I'm gonna get it in the neck about all my lack of Irish folklore knowledge, but I have an Irish folklore book here that I think I'm gonna try to read next. I'm gonna take slight tangent. I'm very nearly finished Prayer for Omini. Hmm.
Isn't it good?
It is very good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think I'm going to try to read that book next, but I won't drill us for too long. So yeah, anyway. So how do we get that a bit physical? Where are we at?
Travel.
Travel.
Uh,
Yes.
Also, yeah, I did realize that Christmas time is just not uh I don't want to be in this country during
Yeah.
Christmas. Not that I didn't have a lovely Christmas, but it's just we basically spent the same amount of money that we would have if
Yeah.
we'd gone abroad. And it's just, you know, it's weird. Like I've been watching this show on Bravo. Ugh, I'm embarrassed, called Southern Charm. And it's about these like upper crust people that live in Charleston,
Okay.
which is like Charlestown. And it's like, all their relatives were like either presidents or like plantation owners and slave traders. And so there's a lot of like, it's weird. The culture is weird. They've got all these like weird traditions. Um, oh crap, what's my point? Oh, basically, yeah. So then I was like, this is all in South Carolina. I used to live in North Carolina, and
Hmm.
I was thinking like I'm jealous, right? They're in low country, which means like they're really like like the floodplains. Their houses are built on the floodplains. They're
Yeah.
crabbing like right outside their houses. And like when I lived in North Carolina, that's like what I had. It was like we were on the Sound, we had a dock, you know, it would flood under the house all the time. I remember my parents having to like drive the car up the road so that like it wouldn't get flushed
Uh,
out with seawater.
wow.
And I was like, I wish I could give my kids that
Yeah.
experience. And then like, I don't know, Mike and I were talking the other day about Maria or something and North Carolina, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, because I have just this like idea of like a dock that we can just like go and like
Yeah,
feed the fish or like jump off. And I'm like, Beth Martin, you fucking idiot. You are doing this. Like you rent a house in this place, you go every year, like
right?
you have a dock, you go out there, you feed the fish, you actually are doing what you want.
Yeah,
It's just not the same place, and that's okay.
true. Absolutely.
So I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need a beach house in North Carolina, even though I'm looking. I can't
yeah.
afford it. But like
Just in
really,
case.
like I know, but it's like with I'm like I think I'm living the life I want to live,
Yeah.
right? And I'm part of that includes traveling to the places that I want to go.
Yes. And that's important.
And I'm doing it.
You are.
Yeah.
And that's an important revelation, I think, as well. I think it's interesting, because like it probably ties into this. I mean, I think it has always been true to me, and I have always kind of known this, but I feel like, travel does such wonders for my like mental health. Like it really
Same.
does. It just like makes me grateful for what I have, makes me grateful that I can travel. It like fills me up just seeing different parts of the world, seeing people from different parts of the world, interacting with people from all over, it's just it feeds me. Um so like, that I mean broadly it was obviously you came over to see me here, so we did a bit of traveling here. I did a bit of traveling within Ireland, but gonna see you guys spend some time in Mexico
Hmm.
was my big trip, and I'm like, yeah, I need to like find a way to make this, you know, a much bigger chunk of my life if I can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you gonna plan a trip for this year?
Yeah, I'm almost certainly going to go to Canada. It's not definite, but my friend has moved to Calgary and I plan to go and see her is what I'm thinking.
Awesome.
So yeah.
I'm not Googling Canada map right now at all.
I
Ugh.
I know. I am probably going to go to Toronto as well, I think.
Hmm. I know
So
where that is.
yeah, that is they're in opposite sides of the bloody country, unfortunately. But I have
Uh-huh.
a handful of friends there, so I think that's what I'm thinking is spend a bit of time
Okay.
there, and then head over to Calgary for a bit as well, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
drive through the Rockies and stuff. We'll see.
I highly recommend that. We did that
Yes,
as kids.
yes, I think it'll be lovely. I think it's exactly the sort of shit I want to do, and I think like my friend is happy that she's went over there, but she's also struggling with the reality of A, it's very cold, a new job at a new place, et cetera, so yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But that's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you gonna play hockey?
I can't even skate. It's something that I've been talking about trying to relearn recently. Or like not relearn, learn. Like I had no sense of balance as a kid, but I think with yoga and stuff, I now do a little bit. So I'd like to maybe
Hmm.
give it a go again. I like the idea of it.
I wish I was shorter so like I wouldn't have as far to fall. And
Yeah.
like we have rollerblades, which are it's not the same. It's very different.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
falling on ice is different.
Like there is literally, I mean, well, that's not strictly true, but there is in terms of ice rinks that are accessible to the public, there's one in Northern Ireland. So like they're just not,
Oh,
it's just not really
really?
a thing here. No.
Oh
I
yeah.
think,
I used to go ice skating where Tanya Harding would practice.
whoa,
I know. Isn't
that
that
was in North
awesome?
Carolina, I presume,
No,
or
no,
was
this
it?
was when we moved to Oregon.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Oh, okay. So actually, I can't remember if I told you this or not. So Mike and I used to go because his old office was by this restaurant called the Dockside,
Okay.
which is like right on the river in Portland, where all the dock workers would go and like have like, beers after they got off the night shift. And like you're sitting there like eating breakfast with them. And it's like it's like all they refuse to sell. It's now like condo land, but and the dockside is like this little like shitty bar like on this little tiny corner. But that's where Tanya Harding wrote down her plan to
Whoa.
like wrote it down on the napkins or whatever, and then threw it in the dumpster of the dockside. Sorry, it's dark side. We're doing a lot of Star Wars right now. And the police found it. And so like they have all the like news clippings on the walls and it's like a whole thing. So yeah.
I,
And I've met her.
No
at
way.
an autograph signing. I don't know where I'm going on this tangent. This was not last year. But yeah, we were at some autograph convention and she was there signing autographs. And she walked
How
right by me and she was
fascinating.
like, "Where the fuck is Larry?" And I was like, "Who's Larry?"
So mysterious.
I know.
Um, Amazing.
I know
Um,
you're jealous.
I
That's
am
my Tanya
deeply
Harding
jealous. I mean,
story.
I have Tommy Wiseau, you have Tonya
I
Harding.
know. I know.
Um, okay. So like, I think we've been circling it. We need to like really hit upon the most interesting, the biggest thing to happen last year, which was the arrival of Mudang onto the
Yes.
scene.
Yes. The birth of
A legend.
Mudang, a legend, the myth, the
Yeah,
reality.
the hippo, the myth, the legend.
So if anyone doesn't know about Mudang, just go Google angry Mudang
Yeah.
videos. And it's this little, it's like, and I've, I was like, okay, is there something special about this baby pygmy hippo? Because other pygmy hippos have been born. There's haggis, which is another one.
Mhm.
There was one that was born, her name's Fiona. I can't remember. That was born in the States, I think. So like other places are catching on that pygmy hippos are like the thing
Yeah.
because Mudang has become so famous. And really, I think Mudang is just the most pissed off baby
Oh,
hippo. The other
yeah,
ones
he's
don't have the same personality.
furious. I mean, I was gonna say his name is incredible, and it just occurred to me as we were talking there, it's like I haven't researched what his name means. Do you know what his name means?
It means like bouncing pork.
Yeah, bouncy pork, yeah. That's even better.
And
Because
it's
like
true.
I've got to say, like, yes, he rules. He is angry. I love his vibe. He's furious at the world, getting, hose water
Yes.
directly into the
What do you mean
mouth.
you want to spray water on me
Yeah.
that I need? What do you mean you
Ah!
want to feed me? Ah, yeah,
Um, I like his vibes, but I also feel like just Mudang generally is such a fun thing to say.
it really
Uh,
is.
and just a great name. So yeah, I mean, he was bound for glory, I think,
And I guess like I know so little about Thailand politics. I guess that they were having like a hard time politically
Oh
and things were
yeah.
difficult. So like the birth of this funny thing, like I think like it caught on there because, they needed something funny to laugh
Yeah.
at. And then it just kind of exploded because of TikTok. So,
Great. Absolutely
but
great.
yeah, like there's one video where like the trainer's trying to pick up Mudang and put her in the little water container and she's like fighting him and like her fat rolls and her stomach, like she's just like fucking pissed
No.
off and is flailing. I'm not gonna do it. And then like gets in there and like, oh yeah, this is nice and sits down.
I guess like I'm sure they're probably Mudang's pretty trainers or handlers. They may have a different relationship with Mudang.
Yes. Well, and
But
like there so I was watching an interview because all the like she's so famous. I mean, she's so famous.
she is.
She has her own blush collection.
No way.
Yes. How to like do your bronzer and blush like to make yourself look like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
palette of Mudang. Hats. Andy sent me a stuffy that Charlie took.
Yeah.
He was just like, that's mine. Like this is mine. You
Your
can get it.
t-shirt with Jesus
I
cradling
have,
Mudang.
yes. Is that from you?
No, that was from Becca, I
Okay,
think.
yeah. So I have, yes, one where Jesus is cradling baby Mudang and another one of Mudang in space, just like kind of being angry in different ways in space. That one I
Uh,
can wear outside.
yeah. Oh,
So
oh, you can wear Mudang baby Jesus. Oh, actually, maybe you can't wear Mudang baby
no, I
Jesus
can't.
outside. Yeah, that's
I
true.
probably, I mean, could I in Ireland? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you could much more easily over here. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could not where I live here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you get in
When most
trouble.
people are like, "Oh, hi, my name
Yeah.
is blah," they're like, "Oh, great, nice to meet you. Where do you go to church?" And I'm like,
I mean, people wear Cradle of Filth t-shirts here.
Okay,
So yeah, you can forget about it.
that's
Um,
true.
um, yeah, I love it. I mean, he is a hero, or she is a hero, sorry, I should say. Apologies to Mudang
Okay, it
for
doesn't really
misgendering
matter.
you.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So the other thing I was going to chat about, I've got so much of my stuff through a lens of pop culture, but
I love it.
I think that like 2024. 2024 is the year that I really properly reevaluated pop music because
Mm.
I have always loved
Hmm.
some pop songs, but I have always kind of like marginalized them a bit. But I was fully on board for the, Charlie XCX's Brat Summer, Chapel Roan,
You were
uh,
like, I gotta say, I'm
love it.
usually hip to things. You were like super hip.
Mhm.
Like
I
I
was
didn't
on it.
even yeah, I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Um,
So
and it's great, and it's really made me also listen to other older pop acts and kind of listen to stuff again and reevaluate other people who I would really not have even given the time to. Like you know me, I like all sorts of music, I think. But it was an area that I had not really looked at properly, and it's been exciting just to kind of look at it through a much more excited lens, and find a load of music that I'm just like, this rocks.
you have a really what like the stuff you were playing in the car, like
Oh yeah.
I knew like 10% of those songs.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
And I think I have a wide, like I have a pretty
you do?
uh, but I guess
Right.
like I'm also American and that's part of the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. I think there's a lot of people in the UK who like passively listen to music as well. Like you do actually, you're curious about music and you're interested in hearing new stuff, but I think a lot of people aren't really. They want to hear stuff. Like what's interesting to me is that like I've talked about it before. I love Radio 6, and some of the acts, it's almost like a feeder station, I find in some ways, because like sometimes acts that they have been playing for like maybe a year or so.
What's Radio 6?
Radio, so it's like so BBC Radio has at least six radio stations. In fact, it has many more.
Gotcha.
And they all kind of so one is very pop focused, one is for an older audience, Radio 2. 3, is that classical? I can't remember. We do have a whole classical one. Might be, I can't remember. 4 is talk radio essentially, and it's like
We get the
dramas.
talk, yeah, we get talk radio. We
It's
get the
like
BBC talk.
yes, so it's like it's just probably a lot of stuff in Radio 4 on there. 5 is sports radio, and 6 is music. And it's like
Okay.
it's a radio station where like there is a certain amount of direction from the station, but by and large, the DJs can play whatever the hell they want. And it's really great because they just have a load of new stuff, and like you have whole shows that are dedicated to introducing you to like exciting, very new artists who have arrived in the scene and things like that. So yeah, I love it. It's always like I'm not a car guy, right? And basically, my one thing when I was buying a car was, does it have Radio 6 in it? Does it have digital radio? And can I listen to my station that I need to hear? And like people are like, oh, you can just listen to it on your phone. It's like, no,
Uh-huh.
I need to turn on the ignition and I need to
And
hear Radio
turn, yeah,
6.
yeah.
That's what I need to happen, okay? And they're like, but does it have a spare tire? Shut up. Shh.
Like, does
No.
it run? You're like, can I sit in it and
Yeah,
listen?
can I sit
There
in
you
it?
go.
Can I listen to my station?
Uh-huh.
Can I hear my songs? That's all that matters. All right. So yeah. So like that was a big deal for me last year. And like I have my did I tell you I have my t a ticket to see Charlie XCX this year, and
No.
I'm going by my I don't have nobody will go with me because they're like, oh, I'm too old to go to Charlie XCX. So I'm excited for that. I'm hopefully gonna find some people to go with because it is. I don't think I really care, but it's the first kind of concert I'll probably be going to where I'll be hyper aware that I'm probably like 20 years older than
You
the
might
vast
be
majority of the
surprised.
crowd.
You might
Yeah,
be
you could be right.
surprised.
That's true. Um, so yeah. Um, I've got a few other bits and pieces. Do you have any other
You know, the
stuff?
thing that stood out was
Uh,
like we actually had quite a few people come and visit, which was like
yeah,
part of the goal of like moving here was like people will come. You know, we have a pool, it's sunny, it's like,
yeah,
a destination place. People will come and like they did. My mom came, like you came, like we had a
yeah,
bunch of friends come and visit. And like also, I guess just like I have really good friends and I'm really grateful for
yeah,
that. Um, and I'm grateful that like I have good friends that live everywhere and I'm
yeah,
able to like go and visit and see, and they're able to come and visit and see. And like, just like the ones that hold on are like the ones that I want to hold on.
yeah.
and I've got really incredible people in my life, and I'm just like so grateful.
That's so nice.
I
Yeah,
obviously I am excluding you from this
sure,
conversation,
100%.
everybody else
I
but
mean,
you.
that makes what I'm about to say much easier then because I was going to say, like, nice for you because all my friends are jerks and assholes. I want to be rid of every one of them. I'm just joking. I'm joking, guys. I love you. Um, yeah, I totally hear you. Like, and it is such a treat, like having that. It really is, and like it's something I think can be quite easy to take for granted, but like it is rare, especially like you know, we are in our 40s, or sorry, but like, and
I don't care.
it's
I'm
hard to,
proud.
yeah,
45 and
yeah,
proud.
yeah, me
I
too.
think I'm
Actually, I don't really care.
45,
So
maybe
yeah,
46 or
yeah,
44. I don't
I can't
know.
remember exactly. I'm like, I have a birthday coming up, so I was like, what are you going to be? And I'm like, huh, I think 46. I can't
When's
remember.
your birthday?
Yeah, yeah.
When's your birthday?
Oh, 26th of May.
Thought it was the
So
27th.
no, it's still a while away. And what was I saying? Oh no. Oh yeah, yeah, sort of a
Friend.
age. But like I I find so many people and I've met in my life who are like of at the same sort of age that we are who have hardly any friends or friends have fallen away or all those sorts of things. And like we do a really good job, I think, of keeping those connections, especially the ones that are important to us,
Mhm.
live and
Yeah.
making time for them, which is
Yeah.
great, I think. Um, okay, so a few other quick ones, and these were just ones that looking back kind of like remind me why it's good to be alive and also gives me a little bit of hope about our kind of nightmare system that we all live with.
Hmm.
Number one was the solar eclipse last year was cool. I didn't
Oh
experience it
yeah.
directly, but I always love a solar eclipse. It kind of reminds you of our sort of significance and
I
insignificance.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I totally experienced it.
Yes, you did experience it. Yeah. I wish I had. I think they're always cool and they always kind of I find them quite humbling whenever they happen. And I think it's quite a wonderful thing that the world, well, maybe not the world, but like a lot of people in the world can share. I also love the fact that a South Korean president was impeached. Now it's happening now. He is on trial currently, and it's just lovely to see that the checks and
Mhm.
balances can work. Not everywhere, but they work in some places. So like not all hope is lost.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
Yeah. Could be we could be talking about any country now, right?
Any
We're not.
country.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think for me, getting rid of the Barbie dream house and
Yeah.
donating it to another child freed up like 6 feet of space.
Yeah,
I was really, really glad that that happened.
yeah. That's a good point.
That thing is fucking huge.
It was huge. Yeah. That's a
So,
nice one. Okay, let's go. I love
yeah.
it. I love it. Perfect.
Um,
Was that your old Barbie dream house?
no, I have
Okay.
a dollhouse that,
Okay.
yeah,
That was it.
that
I
my dad
think
and I
I
built.
was
Yeah.
conflating with something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's perfect thing to get rid of.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love it. I mean, oh yeah, I think that like okay, so I do have a few personal things. It's
Mhm.
funny that I squirrel these away at the end rather than
Right, talking about them. We're like, and then this, then now we're out of time.
let's talk about this content on up front and now talk about my personal shit. So like it seems like a perennial lesson to me
Mm,
of taking on too much stuff and then
yeah.
like overwhelming myself. I don't know that I have. I think I see it clearly now in a way that I haven't really before. Last year was a really big lesson to me in that I think I'm already taking steps to try to step back from things this year. I think it's important for me to do. Um, let's see how successful I am with it, but I think last year was very instructive in that regard. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a fine balance between being busy and being busy enough that you're not like going to like dark places in your brain
yeah,
and like being so busy you don't have a life.
this is it. And like,
Yeah.
and I find that a constant struggle to find that balance, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's something I'm thinking about a lot more now, and I'm making a real effort to find some balance there. So let's see how I get on.
Hold
Um,
you accountable.
yeah, please
I
do.
will. You know I will.
I know you will. I love it. And also the other thing I was going to say was, and certainly there's been some false starts, and it's something we've talked about in this podcast in terms of false starts. I finally figured out how to date kind of again, which is nice. It's taken a while. It's taken years. So yeah, it was good, and so that's been good. That's been a good development, and yeah, I'm very happy with how that's going so far. You
Good.
know,
I'm proud of you. I mean, it's not easy and you've done a lot of work on yourself to get
yeah,
to the point to be,
yeah,
open.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, those are the two things I thought last year that I felt fairly major changes in myself.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, like I'm more capable than I think I am.
Absolutely.
And I just need lots of naps. And that's
Yes.
okay.
I mean, hey, if we ever get a bandy sort of what's the word? A crest.
Uh-huh.
That's the motto that should go along the bottom. Yeah. It's just a picture of Beth and I looking sleepy, and it says we need lots of naps
Lots
beneath
of
it.
naps.
But I do want to design that crest, send it into us, please do. Um,
I love it.
all right, I think that's good. Do you have anything else, or should we move on
No,
to
you know
our?
what? I think I really liked this.
Yeah, me too.
Like I never think back in February and look back at the year. Like if you do it too soon, you only
Yeah,
see the bad. And like this was
and
really great. And I'm like,
as
no, last year was really awesome. And I don't know if I would have said that a month ago.
yeah, I think you're right. I think it's because, especially, I think coming into January, and like after this conversation, we've talked about this. Like, it's January's brutal. Like, it's
Yeah,
always hard. It's always like, gee,
yeah,
whoa. So it's hard to really think about things rationally, I think, so it's nice to have a bit of space from it. So yeah,
yeah.
been lovely. Okay. In that case, fine time to move on to our final wee section, folks, which is what's been bringing you joy this week, Beth.
So Harper signed up for the talent show.
Nice.
So she's got 2.5 minutes to like do a thing. And there's this. Do you ever see Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
Okay, so Anna Kendrick does this thing with this cup.
Yeah.
So Harper's doing this cup dance thing
Okay.
for the talent show,
Yeah.
and she like had to audition for it
Okay.
last week, and I totally forgot. Like I'm just a space cadet these days, but she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go on stage and I'm gonna do it, and they put the song on, and she did it
Good for her.
so well, and like it I don't it's this I don't know how to explain it. Like it's one cup, but like you're using it to like bounce off your hand, and you're making percussion
Yes.
out of like a solo cup basically.
Yes.
And it's so just like hypnotic to watch.
That's
And like her friend was like dancing next to her, but like all anybody could do is just like watch Harper doing this percussion cup thing. And I was just so proud of her. Charlie's like, I don't want to do anything on stage, like no way in hell kind of thing. It's like, no,
yeah.
I'm gonna do, her friend's mom is like organizing it. And so I think there was a little pressure there,
Sure.
but it was good. It's good. So she's like on stage doing this thing, taking ownership, like
That rocks.
practicing. And I like didn't even know. It's like these kids, they surprised me. I didn't even know she was practicing. I'm like, when have you been practicing? She's like, at school and like in my room and at bed before. Like I'm just like doing it. I'm like, okay. So it was just it's fun to be like surprisingly, impressed with the kids,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know?
I love it. That's a great one.
So when I'm like, you didn't wipe your butt,
Yeah, I
like
know. No,
what up? And then they let, do amazing things. So I don't
and
know.
yeah, they're like doing this cup thing, and you're like,
Yeah,
shit, can I do that cup
I know.
thing?
There's no way.
Yeah. That rocks. I love it.
How about you?
So I I'm thrilled that the White Lotus is back.
I just really rewatched season two.
Oh, it's great. I mean, like, I love that. I love that show so much, and I find I kind of love. I mean, like, I love the first season so much, and then I just like kind of like the template of that show, which was here are all these mostly horrible people, and now let's watch their lives kind of unravel, or they're kind of like, you know. their realities kind of fall apart in interesting ways because they
Hmm.
tend to all be absolute ghouls, you know. So
Hmm.
I'm excited to see. I just yeah, I love an anthology show, which I guess this kind of is, where every sort of season's kind of different when they're done well, but like to a theme.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is just I'm so happy it's back. It's lovely to be back in that sort of,
Yeah, like rewatching season two, I was just like, yeah, the symbolism, the cinematography, the
yes.
location, I'm just like, this is so well done. And so I'm like, okay.
The,
And
the
Mike was
sh
like, this is so boring. And I'm like,
yeah.
God. Um,
I yeah, I know people who are like, why do you watch that? Would you not, is it just not like watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians? And I'm like, no,
no.
not even a
It's
little bit.
it's and it's just like it goes so much deeper than we probably even know.
Yes.
So I did a little research. I was like, okay, like where did he come like Mike White, he's he, where did he come up with this idea? And it was when he was on Survivor.
Really?
Yes. And he was like, with a bunch of people and they're all kind of in a different place and they're trying to figure out how to do stuff and work together and their personalities are all involved. And he just started like thinking about how he could put like all of them in a hotel and what would happen kind of thing. And then
Interesting.
this is the idea for the White Lotus.
Like incredible. I mean, it is great. What a result. Like I say, it is
Uh-huh.
one of my favorite. I mean, something else that kind of did a good job with this was Succession, I think, and
Hmm.
it's lovely to have something else like that. The criticism I've heard of shows like this from friends are that they don't want to watch awful people, and I kind of get it, but
Oh,
like,
it's my
oh,
jam.
I
That's
hear
all
you.
I love is to
Yeah.
watch awful people.
Because like, well, to me, I find it so valuable and useful to me to see that these people who are successful, who are just fucking miserable. It's like, okay, it's good. I'm happy that these motherfuckers who are in like the top rung of the ladder
Yeah.
are just as miserable as everybody else, you know?
Yeah, well, and
It's
it's like the common thread, which is always like no one knows anything, we don't know what we're doing, and
yeah,
it's like that reinforces my that belief in, even though it's made up, it's like a lot of these characters are not. They come from
absolutely.
somewhere,
No. But yeah,
So
it's great, very good. So yeah. Okay, okay.
yeah,
I think
artichoke,
indeed.
sweet.
So do quite all right. So I think we are good, and we will look to wrap up the episode. Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at bendypodcast.com. I highly recommend just like quickly going through your photos from last year and just
Mhm.
reminding yourself like how awesome you are,
Yeah,
and the good aspects that, you know,
that's a lovely thought.
came from last year. Because I this has been very, very nice.
Yeah, love it. Great way to end
Google
things
Finman
off.
cool.
Yes, and good with
Make
every
us a
call.
crest.
Always, yes, and make it a crest. So three things, okay? Put them on your list. All right, love it. Okay, folks. In that case, as always, we'd like to remind you to stay
Bendy.
nice. What a fitting tribute to
Fuck
2024.
yeah.
All right, we love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.